Hey there, amazing listener. If you're enjoying this journey, do me a solid. Like this video, subscribe to the channel, and tell me, where are you tuning in from right now? What time is it for you? Because for us, the year is 450 BCE. You wake up on a thin mat, the rough fibers digging into your back, and the first thing you feel is the relentless sun already streaming through the open doorway of your small mud-brick dwelling. It's barely dawn in ancient Attica, but the air is already thick, dry, and promising another day of scorching heat. A dull ache pulses in your shoulders, a familiar throb from yesterday's labor. You push yourself up, muscles stiff and protesting, and the smell of stale straw and the faint, earthy scent of goats fills your nostrils. Your stomach tightens, a constant, gnawing emptiness that's become a part of you, like your own shadow. You step outside, squinting against the rising sun, a fiery orb climbing over the distant, rocky hills. The ground beneath your bare feet is hard, cracked earth, already radiating warmth. Dust, fine as flour, rises with every step you take towards the fields. You can see the other villagers, dark silhouettes against the bright horizon, already hunched over, their movements slow and deliberate. You grasp the crude wooden handle of your hoe, worn smooth by countless hands. The weight feels heavy, an extension of your own aching arm. The sun beats down on your neck, a relentless hammer, and within minutes, sweat stings your eyes, tracing paths through the grime on your face. You lift the hoe, swing it, and bring it down with a grunt. The impact jars your teeth, sending vibrations up your arms. The soil is stubborn, compacted, resisting your efforts. Each clod of earth you break feels like a small victory, yet the expanse of the field seems infinite, stretching out under the merciless sky. Your throat is parched. You swallow, feeling the sandpaper-like dryness. You can taste the dust on your tongue, gritty and ever-present. You work in rhythm with the others, a silent symphony of effort, each person focused on their patch of ground, their own battle against the earth. You see a woman nearby, her back bent almost double, her movements slow, eyes fixed on the task. A child, too young to fully help, sits on the edge of the field, kicking up dust, a tiny, fleeting moment of innocence in this harsh reality. Hours merge into a blur of effort. Your back screams, your hands are raw, blistered. The sun reaches its zenith, a malevolent eye in the sky, sapping every ounce of energy. You pause, straightening up with a groan, and gaze across the shimmering fields. This isn't just work. It's a constant gamble. One bad harvest, one prolonged drought, one infestation, and everything you've toiled for could vanish. There's no safety net, no easy escape from nature's whims. Just the raw, unyielding struggle to survive. Day after grueling day, under the watchful, indifferent sky, you realize, as you wipe sweat from your brow, how deeply intertwined existence is with this soil. Your life, your very breath, is literally rooted in the earth you just turned. You feel the persistent ache in your lower back, a dull throb that's been your constant companion since sunrise. Your calloused fingers rub absently at the rough texture of the sun-baked clay jar you're shaping. Grit from the workshop floor fills your nostrils, a gritty perfume you've grown accustomed to. The rhythmic slap of hands on wet earth, the low hum of workers, it's all a familiar, heavy cadence to your days. But lately, something else has seeped into the rhythm. You catch fleeting whispers, glances exchanged between older workers, hushed tones that vanish the moment you turn your head. It's always about them, the initiates, the sacred path. You see them sometimes, a distinct group, walking with a different stride, a certain quiet dignity, their eyes holding a distant, knowing glint. They don't speak of what they've seen, but their very presence suggests a world beyond this endless cycle of dirt and effort. A faint, unfamiliar scent drifts through the air, something sweet, smoky, not like the herbs drying in the sun. It's fleeting, a ghost of a fragrance, yet it snags at your senses, pulling your gaze towards the distant hills. You imagine torches, chants, a communion with something ancient and powerful. A yearning stirs deep within you, a quiet insistence that there must be more than just sweat and sun. This daily grind, this tangible reality, suddenly feels too small, too thin. You watch as a fellow laborer, usually so focused, pauses, his eyes following one of these chosen individuals. A flicker of envy, curiosity, and perhaps a touch of fear crosses his face. You understand that feeling. It's the pull of the unknown, the allure of a secret, kept so fiercely, so completely, that its very existence is a testament to its profound weight. The thought of stepping onto that path, leaving behind the known world for a truth whispered only to a select few, is both terrifying and utterly, undeniably tempting. The mundane feels heavy, while the mystery feels like air, breathable and vital, just out of reach. You feel the rough clay cool, slightly in your hands, bringing you back to the present. The sun dips, casting long shadows across the workshop. Another day done. But the whispers linger, a quiet echo in your mind, promising something more than just another dawn. The biting cold of pre-dawn air wraps around you, seeping through your thin tunic, raising goosebumps on your arms. You shiver, your breath fogging in the faint silvery light just before the sun fully commits to the day. The ground beneath your sandals is rough, sharp stones digging into the soles of your feet with every deliberate step. You can feel the dew-damp dust clinging to your ankles, an earthy chill. Ahead, the sacred way unwinds like a pale serpent, a narrow track carved into the rugged Attic landscape. You're one of many, a silent procession of figures moving with a shared, unspoken purpose. You glance at the person beside you, a flicker of shared weariness and resolute anticipation passing between your eyes. No words are needed. Each rhythmic crunch of gravel underfoot echoes the determination pounding in your chest. The sun begins its slow ascent, painting the eastern sky in hues of fiery orange and deep purple, but it brings little warmth yet. The air remains crisp, cutting. Your muscles, already stiff from yesterday's chores, begin to ache with a new intensity. This isn't a stroll, it's a demanding march. You adjust the meager pack on your shoulder, its weight pressing down, a constant reminder of the distance yet to cover. As the morning wears on, the air thickens, the biting cold giving way to a more oppressive heat. The sun climbs higher, beating down on your exposed head and neck. Sweat trickles down your temples, mingling with the dust that rises in small clouds with every footfall. Your throat feels dry, parched, and the thought of water, cool and clear, becomes a persistent craving. You're shedding the comforts of home, the familiar rhythms of your village life, piece by painful piece. Every turn in the path brings a new vista of scrubland, ancient olive trees, and distant hazy mountains. But also a lingering shadow of apprehension, whispers of bandits, of dangers lurking unseen along these solitary stretches, prickle at the back of your mind. You quicken your pace slightly, pushing through the fatigue, your senses heightened, constantly scanning the rugged terrain. This journey isn't just about reaching a destination. It's about proving your resolve, a physical and mental crucible. You press on, one step after another, a testament to endurance. Your body complains, but your spirit, fueled by an unknown promise, urges you forward. This arduous trek isn't merely a physical act. It feels like a deliberate purification, stripping away the trivialities of the ordinary world, preparing you for something profound, something yet to be revealed. Then, suddenly, you hear it. A low, persistent roar that isn't the wind. It grows steadily, a deep, rhythmic breath. The air shifts, tasting sharper, carrying a distinct, briny tang. The dust from the road, which has been your constant companion, begins to recede, replaced by the invigorating scent of salt and ancient water. You break through a final thicket of gnarled bushes, and there it is, the Aegean Sea, stretching out, an endless expanse of shimmering blue under the afternoon sun. A collective sigh seems to ripple through the weary pilgrims around you. Relief washes over you, but it's quickly mixed with a bracing apprehension. The shore is lined with figures, already shed of their dusty garments, moving towards the frothing edge where waves crash with a continuous murmur. The sight is both inviting and daunting. You carefully unbind your worn sandals, feeling the coarse grains of sand give way beneath your arches. You strip off your tunic, the fabric feeling heavy with the sweat and grime of the journey. The cool breeze on your bare skin is a shock, a sudden, exhilarating contrast to the oppressive heat of the day. You stand for a moment, vulnerable, exposed, the dust of the road still clinging to your limbs like a second skin. With a deep breath, you wade into the water. The first touch is an icy shock, a jolt that steals your breath and makes your muscles tense. The bracing chill bites, stinging your shins, then your knees, then your thighs. You push deeper, the cold embracing you, consuming you. Salt water fills your nostrils, a sharp, clean taste. You dip your head, submerging fully, and the world goes silent for a moment, suspended in the cold embrace. When you surface, gasping, the water streams down your face, cleansing away the accumulated dust, sweat, and weariness. The sting of the salt on your skin feels less like pain and more like a powerful purification. Around you, others are doing the same, a chorus of sharp intakes of breath and muffled exhales, mingled with the rhythmic rush of the waves. You hear the low, resonant hum of chanting starting nearby, a repetitive, ancient sound that seems to rise from the very depths of the sea. You rub the cold water over your arms, your chest, feeling the grit of the day literally wash away. This isn't just about getting clean. It's about shedding the profane, casting off the mundane, and preparing your very essence. Every icy splash, every sting of salt, feels like a deliberate act of severance from the ordinary world, readying your body and mind for the profound, sacred journey that lies ahead. The sea, vast and eternal, cleanses you, leaving you stripped bare, vulnerable, but utterly ready. The air shifts, growing cooler, carrying a new, potent scent. Heavy earth, damp and ancient, mixed with the sharp, sweet smoke of burning incense. The grand procession, a silent tide of initiates, flows inexorably towards a massive, shadowed opening carved into the living rock. You feel the tremor of countless footsteps resonating through the ground, a low thrum that vibrates up through your very bones. This is it, the Telesterion. You step across the threshold, and the daylight that has guided you for days abruptly recedes, swallowed by a vast, cavernous darkness. Your eyes struggle to adjust, scanning the immense space that stretches before you. It's not merely a room. It feels like the belly of the earth itself, hollowed out, immense. The sheer scale presses down on you, the ancient stone walls soaring upwards, lost in the gloom far above. A shiver, colder than any breeze, runs down your spine, not just from the chill of the underground, but from an undeniable sense of awe and a primal fear. Each of your footsteps echoes, the sound swallowed and then gently released by the immensity of the hall. The collective shuffling of feet and hushed breaths of those around you become a low, continuous murmur, amplifying the silence. You can barely make out the faces of the others. They are indistinct forms, sharing this profound moment of descent. Their expressions are unreadable in the dim light, but you sense a shared tension, a weighty anticipation that hangs in the air thicker than the incense smoke. The scent of burning resins grows stronger now, clinging to the cool air, a fragrance that feels both sacred and unsettling, hinting at rituals performed here for countless generations. You feel the cold seeping into your exposed skin, a chilling sensation that permeates your very core. The smooth, worn stone of the floor is cold beneath your feet, grounding you to this ancient place. It's as if the earth itself breathes around you, holding its breath, waiting. You follow the slow, deliberate movement of the line, your gaze drawn into the deeper shadows, where flickering points of light hint at altars or distant figures. This isn't just a building. It feels like a liminal space, a place where the ordinary world has been left far behind. You sense a subtle, almost imperceptible shift in the fabric of reality, as if the veil between your world and something older, deeper, and more mysterious has thinned to gossamer. Your heart pounds a slow, heavy rhythm against your ribs, a drumbeat of anticipation and a profound, wordless fear of what secrets this ancient stone chamber is about to reveal. You are here, at the threshold, ready to be utterly transformed. You're guided deeper, further into the ancient earth, the immense telesterion now behind you, a vast memory. You step into a narrower passage, the air growing heavier, warmer, saturated with an even richer, intoxicating scent of frankincense, and something else, something subtly sweet and earthy. The light here is different, no longer just dim, but actively flickering, dancing wildly. Torchlight, held by unseen hands, casts long, writhing shadows that stretch and shrink, distorting the very walls around you. A figure ahead might seem to loom impossibly tall, then shrink to a wavering silhouette. You reach out, almost instinctively, to steady yourself, feeling the cool, rough stone beneath your fingertips. Your sense of space warps, expands, and contracts with each stuttering flame, making the inner sanctuary, the Hieron, feel both claustrophobic and boundless. Then, the sound begins. Not whispers, not the distant murmurs of the larger hall, but a deep, resonant hum that seems to rise from the very stones beneath your feet. It's a chant, low and powerful, foreign yet strangely familiar, vibrating through your chest. It ebbs and flows, sometimes a guttural drone, sometimes rising to a more melodic, but still undecipherable rhythm. You can't make out words, only the raw power of sound, washing over you, filling every empty space in your mind. And then, just as suddenly, it stops. An unsettling, profound silence descends. It's not merely the absence of sound, but a heavy, deliberate hush that presses in on your ears, making them ring. In this intense quiet, your own breathing seems impossibly loud. You strain your senses, trying to decipher what you think you see in the flickering darkness. Are those symbols on the wall? Are those movement? Or are your eyes, starved of clear light, playing tricks on you? The psychological impact is potent. Your mind, already frayed by the journey and purification, feels vulnerable, open. The boundaries of your perception blur. You feel a prickle on your skin, a heightened awareness that makes every shadow seem to hold a secret. Every creak of the ancient structure sound like an intimation. This isn't just a place, it's an experience designed to strip away your ordinary understanding, to prepare you for something that defies definition. You stand here, utterly exposed, waiting for the unspeakable to be unveiled, your senses both overloaded and deprived, teetering on the edge of a transformation you can't begin to comprehend. The heavy silence that pressed against your ears just moments ago is violently, utterly shattered. A blinding flash of light erupts, searing your retinas, a pure, white burst that momentarily erases everything else. You involuntarily flinch, squeezing your eyes shut, but the afterimage lingers, a burning phantom stamped behind your eyelids. Immediately following, a sound unlike anything you've ever heard tears through the chamber. It's a guttural, raw bellow, a primal roar that seems to claw its way from the very earth itself, vibrating not just in your ears but deep in your chest, through your bones, making your teeth ache. It's joined by a thunderous, rhythmic booming, heavy drums striking a terrifying, relentless beat that makes your heart pound in sync. You feel a wild, almost uncontrollable urge to scream, to cover your ears, to flee, but you are rooted to the spot, paralyzed by the sheer, unbridled intensity. When you manage to open your eyes again, the light is still there, but fragmented, flickering madly, casting colossal, grotesque shadows that writhe and dance across the ancient stone. Shapes emerge and recede too quickly to grasp, fleeting glimpses of forms that are both terrifying and utterly captivating. Are they figures? Beasts? Gods? Your mind struggles to categorize, to make sense of the overwhelming chaos, but it's futile. The visual distortion is complete. A dizzying, disorienting maelstrom. A torrent of unnameable emotions surges through you, an inundation unlike any you've ever experienced. Primal fear, cold and sharp, claws at your gut, threatening to consume you. But it's immediately, strangely, interwoven with an exhilarating current of pure wonder, a breathtaking awe at the raw, ancient power unfurling before you. You feel a profound, sudden knowing, a flash of understanding that bypasses logic and reason, settling deep in your gut, a visceral truth. And then, a terrifying awareness of your own insignificance, a chilling terror that brushes against the edges of your sanity. Your senses are assaulted, overwhelmed, stretched to their breaking point. The air itself feels charged, thick, with an energy that makes the hairs on your arms stand on end. You gasp for breath, feeling a strange mix of exhilaration and absolute terror. This isn't a performance. It's a shattering. Every preconceived notion, every ordinary framework of your world feels as if it's being violently, irrevocably torn apart, leaving you utterly stripped, utterly open, and utterly transformed. The chaos recedes, slowly, almost imperceptibly at first. The blinding flashes soften into a diffuse, ambient glow, revealing only the contours of the vast, ancient stone chamber, not its details. The guttural roars and thunderous beats diminish, dissolving into a lingering echo that vibrates in the deep recesses of your memory. A phantom resonance in the newly returned quiet. Your body, which was taut with terror and wonder, slowly begins to uncoil, though an intense tremor still runs through your limbs. The air, still thick with the scent of incense and damp earth, now feels different, charged with a settled, profound energy. You find yourself standing, not moving, not looking for answers in the shadows, but simply being. Your breath, ragged moments ago, deepens, steadies. Your eyes, though still adjusting, no longer seek external stimuli. Everything has shifted inward. What was it you saw? What was it you heard? The details are elusive, dissolving like mist, impossible to grasp, impossible to articulate. But the meaning remains, solid and unwavering, etched into your very core. It's not a secret whispered in your ear, or an image burned into your retina. It's an understanding, profound and wordless, that settles in the center of your chest, warm and certain. You feel an ancient connection, a deep, undeniable thread linking you, this stone, this ritual, to something fundamental, something eternal. The stark realities of agrarian life, the harshness of the road, the chill of the sea, they suddenly seem to fit into a grander, more compassionate design. Death, which once loomed as a terrifying finality, now feels like a natural, necessary turning of the soil, a promise of renewal, a quiet unfolding. And life, your own precarious existence, is not just a struggle for survival, but a vital part of this endless, beautiful cycle. A silent epiphany washes over you, a clarity that stills your mind and quiets the constant anxieties. You feel a profound sense of belonging, a knowing that you are part of something vast and perpetual, an unbreakable chain. You look at the indistinct forms of the other initiates around you. Their faces are still unreadable, but you feel a kinship, a shared, ineffable experience that binds you. You are forever changed, irrevocably altered. The world outside, the sun, the fields, the city, when you step back into it, it will be the same, and yet it will never be the same again. You carry this silence, this understanding, a secret light within. You take a final, deep breath of the heavy, incense-laden air within the telesterion, your muscles stiff, your mind a quiet, humming void. Then, you are gently urged forward, moving with a slow, almost dreamlike procession towards the enormous, gaping maw you entered what feels like an eternity ago. The cool, ancient stone of the passageway gives way, and you step across the threshold. A gasp escapes your lips, a soft, involuntary sound. The cool, clear light of dawn washes over you, bathing your face, your hands, your bare feet. It's not the harsh, scorching sun of the fields, nor the biting cold of the pre-dawn trek, but a gentle, ethereal glow that seems to imbue the world with a new, vibrant clarity. Your eyes, accustomed to the deep shadows and flickering chaos, struggle to absorb the sheer, unadulterated freshness of the morning. The air outside is crisp, clean, carrying the faint, sweet scent of dew on dry earth, a world away from the potent, earthy musk of the inner sanctuary. You inhale deeply, filling your lungs with something pure, something alive. Your body feels physically drained, heavy with the exhaustion of the journey and the intense emotional crucible you've just endured. But beneath that fatigue, an undeniable lightness, a quiet resonance thrums through your very being. You feel reborn, like the rising sun itself. You look around, seeing the familiar olive trees, the rocky landscape, the distant outline of Athens. but everything seems different. Sharper, more real. The calls of birds, a cacophony that would have been ordinary yesterday, now sound incredibly vibrant. Each note, a precious gift, a testament to life. You hear the faint, distant sounds of an awakening world. The bleating of a goat, the far-off clang of a blacksmith's hammer. Mundane noises that once filled your daily life, now imbued with a strange, compelling significance. The profound experience you just underwent, the revelation that altered your perception of life and death, settles within you like a heavy, precious jewel. You can't speak of it, can't describe it, not in words. It's a secret, a profound personal truth that you now carry. It feels like a weight, yes, a sacred burden, but it is also a quiet, inner fire, illuminating your path forward. The world is the same, but you are not. You are forever marked, a silent witness to truths that defy utterance, carrying the dawn within your soul. The rough, familiar feel of your worn tunic against your skin feels strangely foreign now, almost abrasive. You move through the bustling Athenian marketplace, the scent of fresh bread mingling with the sharp aroma of olives and the earthy smell of unwashed crowds. These once ordinary sensations now register differently, each detail sharper, imbued with an unfamiliar weight. The clamor of merchants hawking their wares, the laughter of children, the low murmur of conversations, it all washes over you, but you feel oddly detached, as if observing your own life from a quiet, distant place. You try to grasp the words to describe what you've experienced, what you've become, but they dissolve like smoke. How could you explain the blinding light, the terrifying sounds, the profound, gut-deep understanding that settled within you? You open your mouth to speak to a neighbor, to offer a simple greeting, and find the words taste flat, hollow. The secret you carry isn't a burden of guilt, but one of such immense, ineffable truth that it cannot possibly be contained by mortal language. It creates a quiet chasm between you and the uninitiated, a gentle, isolating barrier. Then, you see him. Across the crowded square, another initiate, identifiable not by any outward mark, but by a subtle shift in his gaze, a profound stillness around his eyes. Your glances meet, a flicker of recognition, a shared understanding that passes between you in an instant, without a single word. There's a subtle dip of his head, almost imperceptible, and you return it. In that silent exchange, you find not loneliness, but a profound connection, a quiet strength, born from shared, sacred secrecy. It's a bond forged in fire and darkness, unseen but unbreakable. Daily life resumes its familiar rhythm. You tend to your tasks, you share meals, you listen to the ordinary worries of others. Yet, everything is filtered through a new lens. The relentless toil in the fields, the cycle of growth and decay, the inevitable hardships of existence, they no longer feel like arbitrary cruelties, but necessary movements in a grand harmonious design. You move with a quiet resolve, a deeper patience, an unshakable inner peace that belies the external struggle. This indelible mark, this unspoken knowledge, has woven itself into the fabric of your being, transforming your perception of life, death, and your place within it. A testament to the enduring power of human spirit to carry sacred truths in silence. The year is 750 BCE. You are but a few days old, a tiny bundle, and the first sensation you truly register is the sharp, biting cold of the mountain air on your newborn skin. Your mother's arm, which was your world, suddenly loosens its embrace. You are lifted, gently but firmly, and the world tilts. The familiar, comforting scent of her warmth fades, replaced by the crisp, earthy smell of the outdoors. You are laid on a rough, cold cloth, exposed to the elements. The sun, a pale winter disk, offers no warmth. Above you, faces loom, stern, unsmiling, their expressions unreadable. These are the elders of Sparta, and their gaze is less a welcome and more a chilling scrutiny. You feel hands, large and calloused, prodding your tiny limbs, tracing the curve of your spine. There is no tenderness in their touch, only an almost clinical assessment. You feel a prickling sensation on your foot as a finger presses, testing. A tremor, a cold shiver, runs through your fragile body. Every slight movement, every soft cry you make, is weighed, judged. You don't understand, but a primal, instinctual fear curls in your gut, a terrifying awareness that your very right to exist hangs in the balance, decided by these silent, unyielding figures. This is the Gerousia, and your fate is in their hands, not your mother's. Years later, you are 7 years old. The sun is warm on your head as you stand in the courtyard, but an internal chill already grips you. You feel your mother's hand, small and soft, lingering on your cheek for just a moment longer than usual. You catch the faint, familiar scent of wood smoke and dried herbs from her clothes, a smell that means home, comfort. You don't understand exactly what is happening, but you know this moment is different. There's a sadness in her eyes, a profound silent ache that mirrors the tightening in your own chest. Then, a different hand takes yours. It's firm, unyielding, a Spartan's grip. This hand pulls you away, gently but resolutely, from your mother's side. You glance back, catching her receding form, her shoulders slumped, her gaze fixed on your departure. There are no tears, no dramatic farewells, only that deep, quiet sorrow. You don't cry either. You've been taught that Spartans do not weep. You feel the rough, dusty ground under your feet as you walk, the sounds of home fading behind you. The world you knew, the warmth of your family, is now behind a closed door. You're entering a new one, stark and demanding. Your life, you realize with a jolt of cold understanding, is no longer your own, or your mother's. It belongs utterly and completely to the polis. Every step forward is a step away from childhood, into the harsh forge of what you are destined to become. The air hits you first, thick, heavy with the sharp, acrid tang of unwashed bodies, stale sweat, and something vaguely metallic. Your nostrils flare, an unpleasant assault after the fresh outdoor air. You're pushed forward, one of many small figures, into a vast, cavernous room. The dim light, struggling from small, high windows, barely pierces the gloom, casting long, shifting shadows that seem to swallow sound. The hard, unforgiving stone floor beneath your bare feet is a stark contrast to the packed earth of home. It's unyielding, sending a deep, penetrating cold up through your soles, making your teeth want to chatter. You shiver, not just from the chill, but from the sheer intimidating scale of this new alien world that feels designed to strip you bare. Everywhere other boys, older, younger, clad in the same coarse, drab tunic. You feel eyes on you, sharp, assessing glances with no warmth, no shred of welcome. Some are curious, some mocking, some utterly indifferent. You shrink, instinctively wanting to disappear into the shadows. But there's nowhere to hide here. Then, the sounds hit. Not the gentle hum of home, but an echoing cacophony. Shouts of older boys, rough commands from trainers, rhythmic thuds of feet, grunts of exertion. The occasional sharp crack, a whip, cuts through the air. The stone walls amplify everything, turning individual noises into a relentless, oppressive din that scrapes at your ears. A constant reminder of authority. A piece of rough, scratchy wool is thrust into your hands, your new tunic. When you pull it over your head, the coarse fibers immediately chafe against your skin, an irritating, persistent reminder. It smells of dirt and other bodies, a collective scent that instantly brands you as one of them. Your own clothes, the familiar fabric of your childhood, are gone, taken away, replaced by this uniform. You realize, with a heavy, sinking feeling, that your small, individual world has been utterly consumed. Here, there are no mothers, no soft comforts, no unique names. You are simply a part of the whole, raw clay, to be molded into a single, unified purpose. Your individuality, your distinct identity, feels like a faint echo, already dying, replaced by the crushing weight of the collective, the barracks' harsh, unyielding embrace. This is where you begin, stripped bare, ready to be remade. A hollow ache, a dull, persistent gnawing, is your most constant companion. It lives deep in your gut, a familiar emptiness that starts the moment you wake, and only intensifies with the relentless demands of the day. It's not a sharp, sudden pain, but a deep, pervasive pang, a constant reminder of what is missing, what is always just beyond your reach. You stand in line, your small body shivering in the cold morning air, eyes fixed on the hands distributing the morning meal. The scent of coarse bread, almost stale, reaches you, and your mouth waters instinctively, a Pavlovian response your body has learned to the slightest promise of sustenance. Your turn comes. You receive a small, hard crust, no bigger than your palm, and a wooden bowl filled with a thin, watery broth. A few sad, pale green leaves float listlessly in the murky liquid. You grip the bowl, the rough wood cool against your fingertips, and immediately, without thought, you begin to devour it. Every crumb of the dry bread, every drop of the lukewarm broth, is consumed with a desperate intensity. You can taste the salt, the faint earthiness of the greens, but mostly, you taste the absence, the sheer scarcity. It's gone too fast, barely touching the sides of your stomach. The gnawing emptiness returns almost instantly, a cruel mockery. You look around at the other boys. Their faces are gaunt, eyes sharp, constantly scanning, constantly assessing. You see the same desperate hunger reflected in their quick, furtive glances at each other's portions, the way their fingers meticulously scrape every last flake from their bowls. There's no conversation, only the sounds of hurried eating, a collective, silent urgency. The air crackles with unspoken desire. This isn't an oversight, you realize. This chronic deprivation is a deliberate strategy. They want you lean, sharp, perpetually on edge. They want your focus to be primal, your instincts honed by the need for survival. Your mind, even during drills, during lessons, during the cold, restless nights on your hard mat, drifts back to food. Always to food. How to find more. How to keep it. The strategic deprivation pushes you, not just physically but emotionally, to a constant state of raw, heightened awareness. This hunger, this constant companion, sculpts you. It teaches you to endure, to be resourceful, to be ruthless. It reminds you, every waking moment, of the fragile line between existence and oblivion. It's a brutal lesson, burned into your very being, that teaches you to value every single, fleeting morsel, and to understand that survival is not given, but fiercely, relentlessly earned. The night air bites at your bare skin, a cold, persistent enemy that seems to sharpen your every sense. You move like a whisper, a fleeting shadow against the moonless stone walls of the barrack, a blur between patches of deeper black. Not a single rustle of your threadbare cloak, not a whisper from the tough soles of your bare feet as they glide over the rough, packed earth. The gnawing emptiness in your stomach feels like a drum, beating out a frantic, insistent rhythm of desperate need, a constant, physical reminder of your mission. Then, you catch it, a faint scent, rich and undeniably promising, stale bread perhaps, or a precious, forgotten piece of dried meat, carelessly left behind in some kitchen or storeroom you've meticulously scouted. It's a beacon in the pervasive darkness, a fleeting promise of a temporary reprieve from the constant, dull ache. Your mouth waters instinctively, a primal, automatic response your body now understands. Your heart hammers against your ribs, a frantic drumbeat that threatens to betray your every calculated silent move. Every distant creak of wood, every soft scuttling sound in the dark, sends a jolt of icy fear through your veins. A vivid mental image of the swift, brutal punishment that awaits discovery. You press yourself flat against the cold, unyielding stone, a living statue barely breathing, waiting for the perfect moment. The guard's rhythmic footsteps grow louder, then mercifully fade into the distance once more, a faint echo swallowed by the night. Now, a quick, silent dash across the open patch of ground, your movements honed by countless prior attempts. Your hands, surprisingly nimble and quick for their size, find the rough latch, coaxing it open with a deft, practiced touch. No sound. Your fingers close around the prize, a small, hard lump, the rough texture of sustenance. It's perhaps a bit dirty, but in your starved mind, it's a true feast, a momentary triumph. The rush of adrenaline is intoxicating, a jolt of exhilaration, almost as satisfying as the thought of finally silencing the hunger that consumes you. But the fear of discovery never truly leaves you. It's a cold dread that chills you deeper than any winter night. To be caught isn't just about the immediate, brutal physical pain, the sting of the lash, the aching welts that will bloom on your back. It's about the profound shame, the utter failure of being outsmarted, of lacking the cunning, the stealth, the wit required to survive and succeed within this system, this clandestine dance in the shadows, this constant, desperate game of wits against the world, is your truest, harshest classroom. It teaches you to observe every minute detail, to anticipate every potential movement, to disappear without a trace, to move with absolute precision. You learn, here in the dark, to think like a hunter, not a helpless prey. It's a relentless, unforgiving lesson in self-reliance, forcing you to master the art of the shadow, to outwit, to earn your very existence through sheer stealth and cunning. This silent, nightly battle defines you, shaping you into something sharp, something capable, something purely, irrevocably Spartan. The raw burn in your lungs is the first thing you notice, a searing fire that ignites with every gasping breath you take. Your legs, thin and wiry, are a blur of motion beneath you, pounding against the hard, sun-baked earth. Dust, fine and gritty, rises with every jarring footfall, kicking up around your ankles, coating your bare skin, and tasting like dry grit on your tongue. The sun, already high, beats down on your head, making sweat stream into your eyes, stinging with a salty burn that blurs your vision. Faster, stronger. The sharp, barking command of your trainer cuts through the air, a whip crack that urges you onward, even as your muscles scream in protest. You push past the dull ache, past the shuddering fatigue, into a realm where pain is simply another constant, another companion in this relentless regimen. The rhythmic pounding of feet, the grunts of exertion from the boys around you, become a single driving symphony of effort. Then, the running stops, abruptly. Before you can even catch your breath, you're grappling. The impact of another boy's body slamming into yours sends a jolt through your spine, knocking the wind from your lungs. You hit the hard ground, the rough texture scraping your skin, dirt filling your mouth, mixing with the metallic taste of your own effort. You twist, squirm, fight back with a desperate ferocity, muscles straining, tendons protesting. This isn't a game. It's a brutal dance where every throw, every lock, every moment of weakness is exploited without mercy. You learn to fall without breaking, to rise without hesitation, to never yield. Next, it's the javelin. The heavy shaft feels cumbersome in your hand, yet you must throw it with precision, with power. You feel the strain in your shoulder, the stretch in your back, as you launch it, watching it arc through the air, hoping it lands true. Again. And again. Your arms burn. Your fingers ache from the repeated grip. Then the discus, a heavier, flat stone that spins from your hand, demanding balance and explosive strength from your core. You spin, release, stumbling slightly as your body tries to regain its equilibrium. Every movement is deliberate, every drill designed to strip away weakness, to forge you into something unbreakable. Your body is a tool, and it is being sharpened, honed, pushed beyond every limit you ever thought possible. You taste the sweat, the dust, the sheer, unadulterated effort. This relentless physicality isn't just about strength. It's about endurance, about learning that your body can always give more, that your will can always push harder, even when every fiber of your being cries for respite. It's a constant brutal negotiation with your own limits, shaping you into a weapon, a soldier, one grueling exercise at a time. The biting chill in the air isn't just from the morning. It's the cold dread that coils in your gut, tightening with every slow breath. You stand bare-backed, your skin prickling as the whispers of the assembled boys settle into an expectant heavy silence. The rough, unyielding wood of the whipping post presses against your chest, digging into your ribs, a dull discomfort that's nothing compared to what's coming. The smell of dust, sweat, and something vaguely metallic, an unspoken premonition of blood, fills your nostrils. Your eyes are fixed on the blurred figure of the Paidonomos, his arm raising, the braided leather whip a dark, menacing line against the gray sky. Then, it hits. A searing, blinding pain explodes across your shoulder blades. A white-hot brand that tears through muscle and nerve. The sharp crack of the whip echoes in the sudden silence, followed by a collective involuntary gasp from the onlookers. Your body jerks, a violent, uncontrollable spasm, but you clamp your jaw shut, gritting your teeth so hard you feel a tremor run through your skull. The metallic taste of blood fills your mouth, not from a wound, but from the raw, desperate effort to suppress any cry, any sound. Sweat, cold and clammy, immediately breaks out on your forehead, trickling down your temples. Another strike. This time, it lands lower, across your back, ripping another fiery path. Your vision blurs, swimming with spots of black, but you force your eyes open, fixed on an unseen point in the distance. Every nerve ending screams, demanding release, demanding weakness. But you will not give it. This isn't punishment for a crime. This is a test, a deliberate forge. You are not meant to avoid the pain, but to master it, to endure it, to stand unmoved, as agony carves its lessons into your flesh. You feel the tension in your legs, the desperate urge to collapse, to seek respite from the relentless burning assault. Yet, you stand. You channel the pain, every fiery lash, into a profound, chilling resolve. You feel the watchful eyes of your peers, the unblinking gaze of your trainers. To falter now, to whimper, to show even a flicker of weakness, is to fail not just yourself, but the very ideal you are being molded to embody. The sting of the leather, the agony blossoming on your skin, becomes a strange, brutal kind of purification, etching resilience deeper into your very being. This isn't merely suffering. It's a crucible. It's where fear is transmuted into fortitude, where the body is taught to obey the indomitable will. You learn, here at the whipping post, that true strength isn't about the absence of pain, but the unwavering defiance in its face. It is the silent, defiant roar of a Spartan, etched into flesh and bone, forging a spirit that will never yield. The silence is a living thing, heavy and pervasive, pressing in on you from every stone wall of the barracks. It's not the quiet of peace, but the quiet of absolute control, of unspoken fear and unwavering obedience. Even the rustle of coarse wool as a boy shifts on his mat, or the soft scuff of bare feet on the stone floor, seems to echo unnaturally loud, drawing the sharp, instantaneous gaze of a trainer. You learn to move, to breathe, to exist within this enforced hush, your every impulse to make an unnecessary sound immediately stifled. You sit with your small mess unit, a group of boys the same age, eating your meager meal. No one speaks. Not a single word. The clatter of wooden spoons against bowls is the only allowed symphony. A thought, perhaps a fleeting observation about the sky outside or the day's grueling drills, rises to your tongue. You feel the urge to share it, to connect. A leftover instinct from a childhood that feels impossibly distant, but it dies there, unvoiced. A tiny spark extinguished before it can ever catch fire. You swallow it, along with the dry bread, recognizing its futility, its danger. When a trainer's piercing gaze fixes on you, demanding an answer to an unspoken question or a response to a command, your mind races, not to articulate fully, but to strip away every superfluous syllable. Done. Ready. Here. Each word is clipped, direct, devoid of embellishment or emotion. Laconic speech, they call it. You learn to prune your thoughts, to distill them to their bare essence, to communicate only what is absolutely necessary. Personal opinions, preferences, desires, they are luxuries you can no longer afford. They are weaknesses that would mark you as an individual, and here individuality is a threat, a flaw that must be systematically erased. You watch the other boys, their faces mirroring your own hardened stillness. There is no unique gait, no distinctive laugh, no personal flair to their tunics. You are all extensions of one another, components of a single, unified machine. Your name, once a unique identifier, now feels less important than the title Spartan. Your personal needs, the gnawing hunger for affection or self-expression, are systematically suppressed, replaced by the collective goal, the welfare of the polis. It's a psychological vice, slowly, but inexorably, squeezing out every last vestige of who you once were. In this relentless suppression, you discover a strange, quiet strength. It is the strength of absolute submission, the profound resignation to a purpose greater than yourself. Your personal desires evaporate, replaced by an unwavering, almost unconscious obedience. You are no longer just a boy, but a part of something eternal, a living embodiment of the Spartan ideal. Your thoughts become sharper, your focus singular, your will unbreakable. This silent, constant surrender to the collective reshapes your very soul, forging you into an instrument, a true citizen soldier, ready to act as one. The grunt of exertion from the boy beside you is almost perfectly synchronized with your own. You feel the collective strain of your unit, a shared ache in your muscles as you push, as one, against the unyielding resistance of the training pole. The air around you is thick, with the metallic tang of sweat and the earthy smell of effort. You are a single, straining entity, a knot of young bodies pushing beyond endurance, forging a new identity. A younger boy stumbles, his face pale with fatigue, threatening to collapse mid-drill. Before a trainer can bellow, your hand, without conscious thought, clamps on his arm, a steadying force. Your eyes meet for a fraction of a second. A silent promise, an unspoken pact forged in countless shared lashings, brutal drills, and nights of gnawing hunger. You help him, not out of kindness, but out of necessity. Your unit's strength is your strength, his failure, your potential weakness. You move as one. But that quick, instinctive loyalty is a delicate thread. At the meager meal, the elbow you throw is sharp, deliberate, ensuring your small portion of broth isn't jostled, isn't claimed by a faster, hungrier hand. You watch the older boys, the ones with hardened eyes and scarred backs, assert their dominance with a look, a subtle shove, or the quick, silent theft of a less vigilant boy's crust. You learn to anticipate, to defend, to claim what you can. You are always on guard, a small, wary animal in a perpetual skirmish for survival. A small group of older boys passes, their confidence palpable. They walk with an air of unquestioned authority, their movements efficient, their gazes piercing. You learn to recognize the subtle cues of rank, the unwritten laws of who leads, who follows, who dominates. To challenge them openly is folly. To earn their respect, you must prove your strength, your cunning, your unwavering resolve. Not with words, but with actions in the training ground. In the dark audacity of a clandestine raid, this brutal ballet of shared hardship and cutthroat competition weaves a strange tapestry. You fight with them, pushing each other to impossible limits, and sometimes you fight against them, asserting your own place. Yet, when faced with an outsider, a trainer's unfairness, or a threat from another unit, you stand as one. This isn't the soft, comforting warmth of a family, but a hard, unyielding bond, sharp as a spear, forged in the crucible of ceaseless striving. It's a brotherhood born of survival, where trust is earned through suffering, and loyalty is proven in silent, painful acts. It's a pack, brutal and unyielding, but utterly yours. You realize that this constant push and pull, this duality of reliance and rivalry, is what truly sharpens the Spartan soul, preparing you for battle alongside the only family you will ever truly know. The cold, cutting air of the Laconian night wraps around you like a shroud, biting at your exposed skin, raising goosebumps. You move with a primal, predatory silence, each bare footfall on the uneven, rocky ground, utterly soundless. The only sound is the frantic, hammering beat of your own heart, a drum against your ribs that threatens to betray your presence. In your hand, the smooth, cold grip of a short iron dagger, its edge, honed to a terrifying keenness, feels like a natural extension of your arm. The pervasive scent of wild thyme and dry earth mingles with something else, something subtly human, carried on the faint breeze. You are not alone, yet you are utterly alone. The shadows of your fellow Cryptia are indistinct blurs, moving with the same focused intensity, a pack of silent hunters. This isn't a drill, not a game. This is the final, brutal crucible, the definitive test of your readiness. Fear, cold and sharp, claws at your gut, but it's not the fear of being caught by your trainers. It's the raw, visceral fear of the hunt itself, of the act you're about to commit. Hours crawl by in this terrifying dance of stealth and anticipation. Your eyes, accustomed to the moonless dark, pick out every shift in the landscape, every rustle of dry leaves, every distant flickering light. The air is alive with unseen things, with tension, with the unspoken mandate hanging heavy over your head. This isn't about valor on a battlefield. It's about the chilling efficiency of eradication, the ruthless maintenance of order through terror. You are here to remind them, to remind everyone. Then, a flicker. A faint glow from a distant dwelling, a helot's humble hut nestled in a forgotten hollow. A low, rhythmic sound reaches your ears, the soft breathing of sleep. Your blood surges, a hot, electric current, overriding the cold fear with a potent, focused determination. This is it. You flatten yourself against the rough earth, moving closer, a part of the night itself. Every muscle is taut, ready to spring. The scent of wood smoke from the small fire, still glowing faintly within, is almost overpoweringly close. You slip inside, a ghost in the shadows. The air is still, heavy with the scent of a meager life, of sleep, of vulnerable human warmth. The figure on the straw mat is barely visible in the dimness, but you know it's there. Your hand rises, the dagger a cold, unwavering extension of your will. There's no hesitation, no thought, only the chilling, practiced precision of a kill. A soft guttural gasp, quickly stifled, the feel of the blade, the sudden, wet warmth. It is done. You retreat, melting back into the shadows, leaving behind only silence and the chilling evidence of your passage. The cold air on your skin now feels different, sharper, as if it recognizes the change in you. Your heart still pounds, but it's a hollow echo, replaced by a profound, terrifying stillness. You have stepped across a threshold, irrevocably. You have killed in cold blood, not in passion, but with a calculated, chilling detachment. You are no longer just a boy. You are a weapon, honed and sharpened, capable of cold, brutal necessity. The moral ambiguity of the act is a concept too soft for this night. You have proven your readiness for war, not with courage in battle, but with the chilling efficacy of a shadow, and in doing so, a part of you has died, to give birth to the Spartan within. A resonant, guttural roar surges from the assembled Spartan citizens, a wave of sound that vibrates through the very ground beneath your bare feet and rattles the air in your lungs. It's a sound you've longed for, dreaded and trained your entire life to earn. You stand at the threshold, your body lean and hard, every muscle a testament to years of brutal discipline, every scar a story of endurance. The acrid scent of dry earth and the collective sweat of thousands of bodies fills your nostrils, sharp and almost intoxicating. You step forward, your gaze steady, fixed on the figure of the ephor, his eyes, like all Spartan eyes, unyielding. You feel the weight of countless gazes upon you, the silent assessment of every man, woman, and older boy in the assembly. This is not judgment, it is recognition. This is the culmination. Your heart, which has learned to beat in rhythm with the drills, now pounds a fierce, triumphant cadence. Then, it is placed in your hands. The shield. Its weight is immense, solid, a substantial disc of polished bronze. It feels cool, smooth, yet undeniably heavy. You grip the handles, your fingers settling into the familiar loops, and the metal presses against your forearm, a powerful, grounding presence. It's not just an object, it's a living extension of your being, a symbol of honor and a chilling, sacred responsibility. You feel its weight deep in your shoulders, a burden, yes, but a glorious one. Another roar, even louder, erupts around you, a unified cheer that embraces you, pulls you into its powerful current. In that moment, surrounded by the sound and the silent, knowing glances of older warriors, you feel an overwhelming sense of belonging. The isolation of childhood, the brutal competition of the Agoge, the gnawing hunger, they all recede, dissolving into this singular, profound connection. You are no longer just a boy. You are a homonios, an equal, a Spartan. The chilling truth of your existence settles within you, clear and undeniable. Your life is not your own. It belongs, utterly and completely, to the polis, to this community, to this shield. You are a defender, a weapon, a living wall. There's a profound, almost terrifying pride that swells in your chest, an acceptance of this destiny. You will return with this shield, or upon it. You have shed your individual self, forged anew in fire and discipline. You stand tall, shield firm against your arm, a silent, unwavering testament to a life dedicated, without reservation, to the grim, glorious pursuit of war and the enduring strength of Sparta. The year is 400 BCE. You wake up on a thin reed mat. The first sensation, the familiar, insistent warmth of the sun, already filtering through the open doorway of your small dwelling. It's early, but the air in the attic hills already promises a scorching day. You can smell the dry earth, the faint, sweet scent of thyme, and wild oregano carried on a gentle, morning breeze. You shoulder your simple leather satchel, a rough woven cloth bundle, your only protection against the day's dangers. The ground beneath your bare feet is unforgiving, sharp pebbles and sun-baked earth already radiating heat. You're scanning the horizon, not for foes, but for the elusive shimmer of something precious, something hidden. The hunt for wild gold has begun. Hours later, the sun beats down relentlessly, a fiery hammer on your exposed head. Sweat drips into your eyes, stinging, blurring your vision as you squint against the glare, constantly searching. Your throat is parched, tasting only dust and the metallic tang of exertion. You push through thickets of thorny bushes, their sharp spines snagging at your tunic, pricking your skin, leaving small red marks. Your legs ache from climbing steep, rocky inclines, your calves burning with every step. This isn't just walking, it's a slow, deliberate dance of observation. You're looking for specific blossoms, for certain rock formations, for any sign that nature's tiny architects might have chosen this spot. Your gaze sweeps across ancient olive groves, their silver-green leaves shimmering, then up the craggy cliffs, searching for a hidden crevice. Your breath comes in ragged gasps, but you push onward, driven by an instinct older than memory. Then you hear it. Faint, almost imperceptible at first, a distant, persistent hum. Your head tilts, straining, focusing every fiber of your being on that tiny vibration in the vast, silent landscape. It's the unmistakable sound of life, of purpose. The whisper of hundreds of tiny wings. The hum guides you, a subtle siren song promising sweetness and light. It's a sound that fills you with a primal, exhilarating surge of hope, overriding the exhaustion, the thirst, the prickle of fear of the wild. You follow the sound, pushing deeper into the untouched wilderness, knowing that these wild colonies are often fiercely defended. Each step is a careful gamble. You can almost taste the thick golden honey, feel the sticky wax between your fingers. This isn't just about sustenance. It's about a connection to the very pulse of the land, a raw, demanding quest for nature's purest treasures, using nothing but your senses and the wisdom passed down through generations. You feel a profound respect for these tiny creatures, and for the challenging, often dangerous path you walk to seek out their hidden riches. The hum that had guided you now intensifies, a visceral tremor in the air, a raw, pulsating energy. You're close. The scent is unmistakable now. Thick, sweet honey, mingling with the sharp, clean aroma of beeswax. But beneath that sweetness, a subtle, almost metallic tang, a hint of defensive pheromones, warns of the danger. Your heart pounds a quick, erratic rhythm against your ribs. You stop, squatting low. From your satchel, you pull a small bundle of dried leaves and herbs. With practiced hands, you gather some dry kindling, igniting it with a spark from your flint. A thin plume of pungent, earthy smoke rises, curling into the still air. You hold it carefully, letting the smoke drift towards the dark crevice in the rocks, the narrow opening that leads to the wild gold. The hum within changes, growing agitated, a higher, more frantic pitch. A few scout bees dart out, angry, circling your head with menacing precision. You swat them away, a swift, practiced motion, the air around you now alive with their furious buzzing. With one hand, you maintain the smoke, directing it, calming, confusing. With the other, you pick up a small, hollow gourd and a stick. You begin a rhythmic, ancient drumming, a low, persistent thrum against the gourd. It's a hypnotic sound, designed to disorient, to distract the tiny defenders. You feel a prickle of sweat on your brow, not just from the heat, but from the palpable fear that thrums just beneath your focused calm. Every movement is deliberate, precise, a delicate dance on the edge of chaos. The smoke and the drumming do their work. The frenzied buzzing subsides slightly, replaced by a deeper, less aggressive murmur. You approach the opening, your face a mask of determined concentration. You reach in, your fingers probing, feeling the sticky resistance of the comb. It's warm, heavy, laden with the liquid gold. You work quickly, but with desperate care, tearing off chunks of the hexagonal cells, the golden sweetness oozing onto your hands, dripping down your wrists. Your fingers are coated, sticky, attracting a few lingering, confused bees. A sharp, searing pain on your forearm, a sting. You flinch, but don't cry out, continuing your work. The cost is minor, the reward immense. You carefully place the dripping comb into your woven basket, a sticky, golden treasure. The air around you is still thick with buzzing, but you've taken what you need, leaving enough for the colony to survive. Then comes the treacherous journey back, the basket heavy, the smell of honey strong, the constant threat of a furious, reawakened swarm following your every step. Each sticky drop feels like a testament to a perilous bargain with nature. You know that this sweet bounty, earned through courage and cunning, is not merely food. It is a profound connection to the wild heart of the world, a precious gift that comes at a precise, stinging price. The rich, earthy scent of sun-baked clay clings to your hands, rough and granular, as you shape another cylindrical pot. Your fingers, calloused and strong, work with a meticulous precision born of long practice. The late morning sun beats down on your neck, radiating warmth even through the shade of the fig tree you've chosen for your workstation. Around you, the air pulses with a gentle, incessant hum, the steady heartbeat of your growing apiary. You glance up, scanning the slope you've chosen. This isn't just any piece of land. It's a carefully selected haven. You looked for the subtle curve of the hill that offers protection from the biting north winds, but still catches the first gentle rays of the morning sun. You chose ground that drains well, preventing damp, and that sits close enough to the spring for water, yet far enough from the main paths to offer peace. Your eyes trace the nearby fields of wild thyme and oregano, the pale purple and green, a promise of future bounty. Next to the finished clay pots, baking hard in the sun, sit intricately woven baskets, crafted from dried reeds and straw. They are lighter, breathable, their golden strands smelling faintly of the fields they came from. You secure the opening of one, leaving only a small circular entrance for your future tenants. Each vessel, whether heavy clay or delicate weave, is a home, a meticulously prepared sanctuary for the tiny, industrious creatures you hope to entice. You move among the established hives, your movements slow and deliberate, designed not to disturb. A few bees drift lazily around your head, their fuzzy bodies a soft blur against the blue sky, carrying the faint, sweet scent of their last harvest. You check the entrances, ensuring they're clear, listening to the subtle variations in the hum that tell you about the colony's mood. Your back aches from bending, from lifting the heavy clay, from the patient, repetitive work, but there's a quiet satisfaction in every deliberate motion. The constant vigilance is a part of you now. Your gaze instinctively sweeps the surrounding landscape, not just for foraging blooms, but for shadows. A hawk circling high above, a slithering movement in the dry grass that could be a snake, the distant possibility of a bear, drawn by the irresistible promise of sweetness. Even the sky itself is watched. A sudden change in wind, the ominous gathering of dark clouds, demands swift action, covering the hives to protect them from a torrential downpour. This terracotta city you're building, brick by clay pot, reed by woven basket, is a fragile world, a delicate partnership between man and nature. You step back, wiping a smudge of clay from your brow, and survey your work. A quiet pride swells in your chest. You are not merely a collector. You are a builder, a protector, a silent guardian of this industrious, buzzing community. It is a slow, patient work, this creation of homes, a constant dance of observation and gentle intervention, a testament to the quiet dedication required to nurture a world of wild gold, one hum at a time. The first thing you feel as the sun kisses the horizon is the low, steady thrum. It's a deep, resonant hum that vibrates through the very ground beneath your bare feet, a constant, living heartbeat. The air is cool, still holding the dampness of pre-dawn, and carries the sweet, earthy scent of blooming thyme, mingling with the faint, warm aroma of honey and beeswax from your terracotta city. You step out into the apiary, your movements slow, deliberate, a silent observer entering a bustling, tiny world. You walk among the rows of clay pots and woven baskets, your head tilted, listening intently. Each hive has its own voice, its own subtle rhythm. You watch the entrance holes, observing the flight patterns of the emerging and returning bees. Some dart out, swift and purposeful, barely a blur against the brightening sky, off to forage. Others return, heavier, slower, their fuzzy bodies laden with pollen, a vibrant splash of yellow or orange on their legs. A smooth, even stream of traffic tells you a colony is thriving, healthy. A sudden flurry, an agitated buzzing, hints at a disturbance, drawing your immediate, focused attention. You understand their language, not with words, but with intuition, with years of silent observation. You spot a small crack in one of the clay pots, a hairline fracture from a cold night. You kneel, running a calloused finger over the rough edge. From your small basket, you retrieve a wad of damp clay, working it between your hands until it's pliable. With painstaking care, you press the clay into the fissure, smoothing it over, making the repair seamless. The cool, wet earth against your fingertips feels grounding, a small act of protection. You want these hives strong, secure, resilient against the elements, a testament to your quiet dedication. Near the central watering trough, you notice the water level is low, the surface dulled with a film of dust and fallen leaves. You take up your small wooden scoop, clearing the debris, then meticulously refill the shallow basin with fresh, cool water from your clay amphora. The clear water reflects the sky, and almost immediately, a few thirsty bees descend, drinking slowly, their tiny heads dipping into the liquid. You watch them, a profound sense of connection settling over you. You are not just their keeper, you are their provider, their silent protector. The day unfolds in this methodical rhythm, a dance of quiet tasks and constant observation. The sun climbs higher, warming the air, and the hum of the apiary grows louder, more vibrant, a chorus of industrious life. You work in solitude, the gentle buzzing your only companion, your mind attuned to the subtle pulse of nature. There's no grand triumph here, no clamoring crowds. Only the small, hard-won satisfactions, a smoothly mended hive, a fresh supply of water, the sight of bees returning heavy with nectar, a thriving colony. You realize how deeply intertwined your life is with these tiny creatures. You are a part of their ceaseless cycle, a silent guardian of nature's delicate balance, and in this quiet stewardship, you find a profound, enduring peace. The air is thick, heavy, almost viscous, with the cloying, sweet perfume of sun-warmed honey and beeswax. It's midday, the sun a relentless hammer on your head, and the heat radiating from the dry earth makes the air shimmer. Around you, the entire apiary pulses with an agitated thrum, a chorus of thousands of wings, a sound that vibrates through your chest, a visceral reminder of the immense, living energy of your colonies. This is the harvest, the culmination of months of patient work, and the palpable tension in the air is as thick as the nectar itself. You move with deliberate, practiced slowness towards the first hive, a long, clay cylinder. In your hand, a small clay pot with smoldering dry leaves and dung emits a thin, pungent plume of smoke. You direct it carefully towards the hive's entrance. The smoke, an ancient lullaby, calms the guardians within, confusing their senses, making them less aggressive. The buzzing momentarily intensifies, a furious burst, then settles into a deeper, less agitated hum. Your heart beats a steady, measured rhythm, a counterpoint to the hive's own pulse. You reach in, your fingers, calloused but nimble, probing the depths. The comb is warm, heavy, dripping with the golden liquid. You feel the sticky resistance as you carefully detach a section, the hexagonal cells bursting, releasing an intoxicating flood of sweetness. Honey oozes onto your hands, streams down your forearms, attracting a few disoriented, angry bees that still hover. A sharp, searing pain on your wrist, a sting. You flinch, a sudden intake of breath, but your hands don't stop, continuing the delicate, messy work. You try to keep the bees on the comb, to cause minimal disturbance, yet the sheer volume of them, the relentless buzz, is an overwhelming assault on your senses. Your face is beaded with sweat, your tunic stained, your hair sticky. Back at the shade of your processing area, the air is still thick with honey's fragrance. You scrape the precious dripping combs into a coarse linen bag, the rich, golden mass glistening. Your hands are a mess of sticky delight. You gather the edges of the bag, tying it tight, and then, with all your strength, you begin to twist, to press. The bag groans, fibers straining, and a thick, slow, golden cascade begins to flow from the bottom, collecting in a clean, large amphora. The liquid is warm, unctuous, smelling of wild thyme, clover, and 1,000 unseen blossoms. You watch it, mesmerized by its slow, deliberate descent. You work for hours, pressing, straining, separating the pure, liquid gold from the dense, fragrant wax. Your muscles ache, your skin is sticky and tingling from countless tiny stings, but there's a profound satisfaction in the sight of the finished amphorae, filled to the brim with nature's purest gift. This honey, this sweet reward, is not merely sustenance, it is the concentrated essence of the sun, the earth, and the ceaseless labor of countless tiny lives. It is a testament to perseverance, to the delicate balance between taking and leaving, and to the quiet, hard-won triumph of working in harmony with the natural world. The sticky, heavy residue from the honey extraction still clings to your hands, a mix of chewed comb, pollen, and the last clinging drops of golden nectar. It smells rich, intensely sweet, and faintly smoky from the pacifying fires. This isn't waste. It's a second treasure, equally vital. You gather the chunks of comb, still tacky, still buzzing with the ghost of the hive's labor, and place them carefully into a large clay pot over a low, smoldering fire. The heat slowly begins its work. You watch, mesmerized, as the comb melts, transforming from an opaque, golden-brown mass into a thick, shimmering liquid. The aroma in the air shifts, becoming less intensely sweet and more clean, a pure, earthy scent of warm beeswax, intoxicating and deep. As it melts, impurities, bits of pollen, stray bee parts, float to the surface, forming a dark, foamy scum. You meticulously skim these off with a wooden paddle, your movements slow, patient, watching the liquid gold purify itself. Once fully melted, you pour the warm, fragrant liquid through a fine linen cloth stretched over another clean clay vessel. The liquid streams through, clearer now, a beautiful translucent amber. The cloth traps the last stubborn impurities, leaving behind a pristine, unblemished wax. Your fingers, still sticky from the earlier honey harvest, Now feel the smooth, warm slick of pure, molten wax. You understand its value, its versatility, its quiet power. You imagine this wax, pressed into thin, flat tablets, ready to be incised with a stylus, to hold the temporary thoughts, lessons, or messages of a scholar. You see it carefully dripped onto a rolled papyrus, a perfect seal, securing an important letter or official document. Its scent of the hive, a subtle mark of authenticity. You picture it molded into small, sturdy lamps, their soft, steady glow illuminating the long, dark nights, a testament to the bees' tireless work. This isn't just a byproduct. It's a foundation for communication, for security, for light itself. And the honey, that liquid gold, it's not just for sweetening a meager meal or a celebratory feast. You know its true power. You remember your grandmother mixing it with herbs to soothe a child's cough, or spreading it on a wound to prevent infection. It's a medicine, a healer, a vital component in countless remedies passed down through generations. It's also a precious commodity, traded in the Agora for other essentials, a tangible link to the outside world. You look at the solidified beeswax, now cool and hard, a pale, fragrant disk. You then glance at the amphorae of liquid honey. These humble creatures, these tiny artisans of the air, provide so much. From the intricate geometry of their comb to the healing power of their nectar, they offer an abundance that sustains, illuminates, and connects your world. This quiet work, this deep understanding of their gifts, is not merely a task. It's a reverence, a profound respect for the intricate tapestry of life that you, the beekeeper, are privileged to guard. A low, unsettling growl rips through the stillness of the pre-dawn air, a sound that vibrates through the very ground and sends a jolt of icy fear through your heart. It's too close. The faint, sweet scent of honey, usually a comfort, now feels like a dangerous beacon, attracting unwelcome attention. You scramble from your thin mat, grabbing the heavy, sharpened staff that always leans by your door. Your breath catches in your throat, tasting metallic. You creep towards the apiary, your bare feet silent on the cold earth. The hum from the hives is agitated, a frantic, desperate buzzing, unlike its usual steady rhythm. Then you see it, a hulking, dark shape, a bear, its massive paws already batting at one of your clay hives, tearing at the entrance. The ceramic shatters with a sickening crunch, and the sweet scent of exposed comb floods the air, mixed with the acrid pheromones of distressed bees. Your hands clench around the staff, knuckles white. This is not just about honey, it's about your livelihood, your year's work, being torn apart. With a primal yell, you charge, waving the staff wildly, making yourself seem larger, more menacing. The bear, startled, rears up, a terrifying bulk of fur and teeth, letting out a guttural roar that makes your blood run cold. You stand your ground, your heart hammering against your ribs, a desperate defiance. Slowly, hesitantly, the massive creature turns and lumbers away, disappearing into the pre-dawn shadows, leaving behind shattered clay, scattered comb, and a profound sense of violation. You stand shaking, the adrenaline slowly receding, a cold sweat chilling your skin. Later, you meticulously rebuild the damaged hive, your fingers working with a grim determination, the buzzing of the remaining bees, a mournful hum. You reinforce the apiary's perimeter, adding more sharpened stakes, setting out crude, thorny barriers, a constant, weary battle against the wild's relentless hunger. You bait simple, wooden traps for mice, their tiny, insidious gnawing capable of decimating a colony over a cold winter. Every morning, you check, hoping for a catch, knowing that vigilance is your only true shield. But some threats are unseen, insidious. You notice a change in a hive's hum, a weak, sluggish drone instead of the vibrant pulse of health. The bees' flight patterns are irregular, their movements slow. You cautiously inspect the entrance, seeing a strange residue, a faint discoloration on the few departing foragers. Despair, a cold, heavy stone, settles in your gut. Disease, a plague, spreading from within, silent and unstoppable. There are no remedies, no cures for this invisible killer. All you can do is separate the struggling hive, burn the affected comb, hoping to contain the spread, knowing that sometimes, despite all your ingenuity, despite all your hard-won knowledge, nature simply reclaims its own. This continuous battle, against predators large and small, against the unseen blight, is the beekeeper's constant companion. It's a relentless dance of protection and loss, a testament to the fragile balance of life. You realize how much of your existence is spent in a quiet, ingenious war against the disruptive forces of the natural world, forever learning, forever adapting, always on guard, to protect the delicate, precious lives that sustain your own. The sun, a familiar weight on your shoulders, has etched its story onto your skin. Your face is a roadmap of weathered lines, deeply tanned and creased around the eyes, from countless hours of squinting against the glare. Every movement, from bending to mend a hive to lifting a heavy amphora of honey, is accompanied by a dull, persistent ache in your lower back, a constant companion that tightens with the evening chill. Your hands, strong and gnarled, are a testament to years of work, calloused palms and thick fingers bearing the faint, silvery tracks of old cuts, and the small, raised bumps of 1,000 stings. These aren't blemishes, they are badges, each one a silent record of a lesson learned, a challenge endured. You run a finger over a particularly prominent scar on your forearm, a jagged line from a bear attack years ago. You remember the adrenaline, the fear, the raw triumph of defending your tiny charges. You remember the sickening despair of finding a hive succumb to the mysterious plague, the quiet sorrow of watching its life ebb away. Your livelihood, your very sustenance, hinges entirely on the health and resilience of these small, fuzzy bodies, on the fickle whims of the weather, on the bounty of the blossoms. It's a constant, low-level anxiety that hums beneath the surface of your days, as pervasive as the bee's own ceaseless buzzing. Yet, despite the physical toll, despite the constant threat, there's a profound connection that roots you to this place, to these creatures. You stand in the apiary, listening to the collective hum, and you feel it deep in your soul. You know their rhythms, their moods, their silent language. You are their protector, their provider, their silent partner in this ancient dance of creation. The responsibility is immense, a heavy mantle you wear with quiet dignity. They rely on you, and in turn, you rely on them. You recall a summer evening, sitting alone among your hives, the air still warm, thick with the scent of wildflowers and fresh honey. The bees were returning, a golden stream against the twilight sky, their tireless industry a mirror of your own. In that moment, the aches in your body, the worry for the next harvest, the isolation of your craft, they all faded. What remained was a deep, unwavering sense of purpose. This life, though hard, is honest. It connects you to the earth, to the cycles of nature, to something ancient and true. You wipe the dust from your brow, feeling the rough texture of your sun-weathered skin. You are a beekeeper, a guardian of wild gold. You live a life of quiet resilience, of constant effort, of profound connection. The dignity of your craft isn't shouted. It's etched into your calloused hands, in the lines around your wise eyes, in the silent, unwavering commitment you feel towards your buzzing, indispensable family. This demanding, precarious path is your chosen one, a testament to the enduring human spirit and the timeless value of working hand in hand with nature's smallest, most vital miracles. The sweet, earthy scent of your freshly harvested honey mingles with the sharp, clean aroma of burning frankincense. You stand, a silent observer among a gathered crowd, watching as a priestess robed in white pours a thin golden stream from an elegant amphora onto a small carved altar. The liquid gold glistens in the flickering torchlight, slowly soaking into the dry earth, an offering to the gods. You feel the hushed reverence of the moment, the collective belief in the purity and divine favor that your bees provide. This isn't just sugar. It's a sacred link, a nectar fit for Olympus itself. Later, the air is heavy with sorrow, yet still tinged with the familiar sweetness. At a graveside, you watch as a small amphora of honey is carefully placed beside the departed, a final gift for their journey to the underworld. It is meant to soothe, to sustain, to grant a moment of sweetness in the bleakness of death. You feel a pang of quiet pride mixed with the solemnity. Your diligent work, the daily aches, the stings endured, they extend even into this most sacred of transitions, providing solace beyond life itself. Then, the contrast. The boisterous clamor of a grand feast, laughter and music echoing through the open hall. The rich aroma of roasted meats competes with the tantalizing scent of honeyed cakes and wine, sparkling with dissolved golden sweetness. You taste it yourself, a sip of ambrosia, the honey-sweetened wine warm on your tongue, a burst of complex flavors. You see bowls of your golden harvest gracing every table, a symbol of abundance, of prosperity, of the very blessings of the earth. People raise their cups, celebrating life, and you know that your humble toil has contributed to this joy, this shared experience of luxury and delight. You, the beekeeper, usually dwell in the quiet solitude of your apiary, far from the grand affairs of men and gods. Yet your product, your wild gold, weaves itself into the very fabric of ancient Greek life. It elevates the simplest meal, sanctifies the most solemn ritual, and sweetens the grandest celebration. You feel a profound sense of purpose, a quiet dignity in knowing that the small, buzzing lives you tend are integral to the soul of your world. You are not merely a farmer, you are a purveyor of the divine, a guardian of sweetness, a silent hand in the sacred balance that connects earth to Olympus, and mortals to a taste of eternity. The bustling clamor of the agora washes over you, a symphony of shouting merchants, haggling buyers, and the bleating of a distant goat. But it's a familiar scent that truly draws your attention, the unmistakable, rich perfume of your own honey, wafting from a merchant's stall. You see your amphorae, stacked neatly, their golden contents glistening under the sun, being admired by a wealthy citizen. They will be exchanged for grain, for oil, for the very essentials of your life. And not just here. You know some will travel on ships, traded across the Aegean, reaching distant shores, a testament to the quiet industry of your tiny workers. You walk past a baker, the inviting aroma of his honey-sweetened bread filling the air. You taste a sample, the complex flavors of herbs and grains lifted by the pure, Intense sweetness that only honey can provide. No other sweetness exists in this world, not like this. Your mind wanders to the evening symposia, where philosophers and poets will sip on hydromeli, a delicate mead, its intoxicating warmth and nuanced flavors, born from the tireless efforts of your bees. You can almost feel the convivial glow, the intellectual sparks ignited by this ancient, golden brew. This isn't just about sustenance, it's about civilization. The wax from your hives, once a sticky residue, is now vital for sealing treaties, for illuminating sacred temples, for crafting the very tablets on which knowledge is preserved. The intricate, geometric perfection of a bee's comb, replicated countless times, enables the recording of laws, the telling of epic stories. These tiny creatures, your silent partners, underpin so much more than just a sweet tooth. You stop by the stall, watching a child's eyes widen as he tastes a dollop of honey from a merchant's finger. It's a taste of pure joy, of simple luxury, available only through the painstaking dedication of the beekeeper and the ceaseless labor of the hive. You feel a surge of quiet pride. For generations, your people have revered these tiny insects, recognizing their profound impact. This enduring symbiotic bond, this delicate partnership with nature, has shaped meals, rituals, trade, even the very thoughts of this civilization. It's a legacy often overlooked, a quiet hum beneath the grand narratives, but one that is as essential and as golden as the honey itself. The year is 400 BCE. You are here, in a small, humble Athenian home, and the first thing you feel is the heavy, stale air, thick with the lingering scent of recent childbirth, damp cloth, and unwashed bodies. It presses in on you, stifling, making every breath feel shallow. The only light comes from a single, sputtering oil lamp, its weak flame casting long, dancing shadows that stretch and shrink on the rough-hewn stone walls, making the small space feel even more claustrophobic. You see the thin, rough wool blanket, pulled tightly around a tiny bundle lying on a low reed mat in the center of the room. A faint, almost imperceptible cry, a fragile whimper, escapes from within the folds, a sound that is quickly swallowed by the oppressive silence. Your gaze shifts to the man, the father. He sits hunched, his elbows on his knees, his face etched with a profound, weary tension. You notice the cold sweat beading on his brow, catching the dim lamplight, even though the room is not cold. His brow is deeply furrowed, his eyes darting between the small bundle and the older man seated opposite him. A relative, perhaps, whose voice is a low, hushed murmur. Words are exchanged, quiet, almost whispered tones, their meaning obscured, but their gravity undeniable. You watch the father's hand clench and unclench, a nervous tick. He runs a calloused palm over his scalp, a gesture of deep distress. The texture of the rough tunic he wears, the splintered edges of the small wooden stool he occupies, all seem to contribute to the palpable discomfort in the air. Across the room, on a straw mat, lies the mother. Her face is pale, drawn, her eyes wide and unnaturally still, fixed on the tiny form that is both her child and the center of this agonizing debate. You see her hand, delicate and trembling, reach out slowly, hover inches above the rough wool, but never quite touch. It's a gesture of yearning, of primal connection, yet it is held back, restrained by an invisible force, by the weight of unspoken expectations and unyielding tradition. An aching silence surrounds her, more profound than any sound, a silent scream that fills the entire room. You feel the suffocating tension, a living presence that drains the warmth from your body. Every flicker of the lamp, every hushed breath, seems to amplify the momentousness of this decision. You watch the slight rise and fall of the small chest in the blanket, the fragile life that hangs in this suffocating balance. In this dim, rough Athenian home, a life, barely begun, is being weighed, judged, and decided, not by affection or desire, but by cold necessity, by the stark realities of existence. The very air pulses with this silent verdict, a stark reminder of how precarious life is, a fragile thread held in the unyielding grip of circumstance. The cold, pre-dawn air, sharp and unforgiving, cuts through your thin tunic, raising goosebumps on your skin. You feel it on your face, a biting chill that sends a shiver through your weary body. But the cold outside is nothing compared to the icy grip around your heart. In your arms, a tiny, delicate weight stirs, a small whimper escaping the tightly wrapped linen. You inhale, and the acrid scent of fear, your own profound dread, mingles indistinguishably with the clean, fresh smell of the swaddling cloth and the faint, sweet scent of your newborn. Your fingers, still tender from childbirth, meticulously adjust the rough linen, ensuring every fold offers what little warmth and comfort it can against the inevitable. You feel the soft down of the tiny head, the fragile warmth of the small body pressed against yours. Each tiny movement, each soft breath, is a pang, a wrenching pull at your very soul. Your eyes, red-rimmed and heavy, scan the darkened room, a final, lingering look at the familiar, if humble sanctuary you are leaving. You step out into the utter silence of the street. The cobbled path is rough, uneven, digging into your bare feet with every slow, deliberate step. Overhead, the sky is a vast, inky canvas, without moon or stars, offering no comfort, only the profound, unsettling darkness of an unknown destiny. Your shadow, long and distorted, stretches before you, then shrinks behind, a fleeting companion in this lonely journey. Every creak of wood, every distant rustling leaf, makes you jump, your senses hyper-alert, terrified of being seen, of being stopped. The small bundle in your arms feels impossibly heavy, yet utterly weightless. It is the weight of an impossible choice, a burden that presses down on your shoulders, making your back ache with a pain that has nothing to do with physical exertion. You clutch the child tighter, your knuckles white, your nails digging into your palms. You feel the slow, steady beat of your own pulse, a frantic rhythm that matches the unheard pounding in your chest. You walk with a desperate, determined focus, your gaze fixed on the indistinct shape of the distant hills. You know the place, a quiet, secluded spot, away from prying eyes, where the gods might perhaps intervene. The raw grief, the profound sorrow, is a silent scream trapped within you, a suffocating ache that threatens to overwhelm your every breath. But you push it down, deep, deeper, allowing only the cold, unyielding resolve to guide your feet forward, one agonizing step at a time. The fragile life in your arms, a breath away from the elements, is a testament to the harsh realities that shape existence, forcing even a mother's heart to make choices that defy comprehension, leaving an indelible mark of sacrifice and silent, unutterable love. The biting wind whips around you, tearing at your thin tunic, raising goosebumps on your arms. Beneath your sandals, the sharp, unforgiving stones of the desolate hillside dig into the soles of your feet with every hesitant step. You stand at the stark, rocky edge of Athens, where the familiar murmur of the city, its distant clamor of voices and carts, has faded into a vast, indifferent silence. The air tastes cold, raw, carrying the faint, earthy scent of dry grass and barren rock. In your trembling arms, a tiny bundle stirs, swaddled tightly in coarse, rough linen. You feel the fragile warmth of a small body, the soft down of a newborn head against your chest. With a deep, shuddering breath, you carefully, almost ritualistically, lower the bundle to the ground. You nestle it against the base of a jagged rock, seeking out the smallest indentation, the slightest curve that might offer a momentary respite from the relentless wind. The coarse cloth feels impossibly soft, a heartbreaking contrast to the harsh, unyielding earth. The wind sighs around the small form, a mournful, indifferent sound. Your gaze sweeps across the vast, empty expanse of scrubland, the distant, hazy mountains. There is nothing but stillness, the profound quiet of a world that does not notice, does not care. From somewhere far off, almost swallowed by the sheer immensity of the emptiness, you hear the faint, reedy bleating of goats. It's a sound of indifferent life, a reminder that the world continues, uncaring, in its ancient rhythm. Then, the stark silence is broken. A fragile, reedy cry, impossibly small yet magnified by the vast, cold emptiness, rises from the bundle. It's a sound that pierces the cold air, tearing at the fabric of the vast, quiet landscape, twisting in your gut. It's an infant's cry, a pure, desperate call for warmth, for comfort, for life itself. You feel the agonizing, visceral pull to reach out, to scoop up the tiny body, to offer the solace your very being craves to provide. Your hands clench, trembling violently, but they do not move. You force yourself to stand upright, your body rigid, resisting the overwhelming instinct to turn back, to undo this impossible act. Every fiber of your being screams in protest, yet you force yourself to pivot, one slow, excruciating step after another. You do not look back. The fragile, piercing cry echoes in the air behind you, growing fainter with each step, a sound that will forever haunt the cold corners of your memory. The sharp stones underfoot, the biting wind on your face, they are a testament to the unyielding realities of this life, where even the most primal bonds can be severed by circumstance, leaving behind only echoes in the desolate dawn. The sun climbs higher now, a persistent warm weight pressing down on the thin, rough cloth that wraps you. It warms one side of your tiny face, making your skin tingle, a stark contrast to the biting cold that still chills the ground beneath you. The rough linen chafes subtly against your skin, and the dull ache of hunger in your belly tightens, a constant, insistent drum. You whimper, a tiny, reedy sound that feels swallowed by the vast, open air. From far off, a new sound enters your muffled world, a rhythmic scuffing, growing steadily louder. It's the soft, hurried crunch of footsteps on dry earth, accompanied by a faint, earthy smell, different from the barren rocks around you. A huge, blurred shadow falls over you, momentarily blocking the intense sunlight. You feel a subtle shift in the air, a fleeting warmth that isn't the sun. A new scent of wool and dusty animal wafts close. You stir, a primal, instinctive cry rising from your chest, a desperate, unheard plea. You sense a looming presence, a vast, indistinct shape, perhaps a face. momentarily silhouetted against the blinding brightness. You feel a fleeting flicker of attention, a momentary pause in the rhythm of the footsteps. Your small body tenses, a faint instinctual hope, then the shadow lifts. The scent fades. The scuffing footsteps recede, growing softer, swallowed once more by the vast indifference of the landscape. The warmth, the fleeting presence, is gone, leaving behind only the relentless sun and the continued, isolating chill of the ground. Hours later, perhaps, another disruption. Again, the faint sound of movement, a different rhythm of footsteps, less hurried this time, but still purposeful. The smell is new, too. A faint tang of sweat and something metallic. A different shadow, long and thin, stretches over you, then slowly retracts. You cry out again, a small, desperate sound, your throat raw. You feel a brief, unsettling vibration in the earth, as if someone stood very close. A moment of profound observation, and then, nothing. The footsteps continue, distant, fading into the heat haze that shimmers above the dusty ground. The sun beats down, relentlessly, baking the air, making your tiny limbs feel heavy, utterly exhausted. The gnawing hunger intensifies, an unbearable emptiness that fills your entire being. You feel the rough fabric of your swaddling, the sharp edges of the stones, the oppressive heat on your exposed skin. The world remains vast, indifferent, its rhythm unbroken by your fragile presence. You are utterly alone, a tiny spark of life on the edge of an ancient, unyielding land, left to the silent, unchanging verdict of the elements. The sun's heat, which had been a relentless, baking weight, begins to soften as the day wanes, replaced by the sharpening chill of approaching dusk. The gnawing emptiness in your belly has intensified, a raw, burning agony that fills your entire, tiny being. Your cries, once sharp and demanding, have dwindled to weak, hoarse whimpers, swallowed by the vast, indifferent expanse of the hillside. The rough linen, damp with dew and your own tears, offers little comfort against the cold stones. Then, a sound, not the distant bleating of goats or the sigh of the wind, but the soft scuff of leather sandals on dry earth, closer this time, purposeful. A new scent, of wood smoke and dried herbs, drifts into your small world, different from the barren earth. A vast shadow falls over you, lingering. You feel a sudden, intense chill as the last direct rays of the sun are blocked. You whimper again, a desperate, reflexive sound. A face looms over you, blurred at first, then sharpening. A woman's face, weathered and kind, framed by a rough headscarf. Her eyes, deep and knowing, hold a flicker of sorrow, and then a jolt of recognition, profound and unspoken. You feel a gentle touch, the surprising softness of calloused fingers against your exposed cheek, then beneath your small body. Her hands are rough, strong, clearly used to hard labor, but infinitely gentle as they lift you. The world tilts, and suddenly, you are no longer cold against the stone. You are enveloped. The immediate warmth of a crude, thick wool blanket wraps around you, soft and scratchy, but overwhelmingly comforting after the relentless chill. It smells of smoke and human warmth, a primal security you haven't known since leaving your mother's arms. You are held close, pressed against a firm, beating heart, the rhythm a deep, soothing drum against your ear. Then, a new sensation. A small, rough finger gently pries open your mouth. A liquid, cool and faintly sweet, touches your tongue. Watered goat's milk. It's thin, simple, but to your parched throat and aching belly, it is pure nectar, a sudden, astonishing flood of sustenance. You suckle instinctively, greedily, the taste a revelation, a sudden, urgent balm to your starving body. The acrid scent of fear that had clung to you begins to dissipate, replaced by the faint, comforting smell of milk and wool. You are still so tiny, so fragile, still so utterly dependent on the whims of fate. But in this embrace, with this new, life-giving taste on your tongue, a profound shift occurs. The relentless indifference of the elements has been momentarily defied. You are no longer alone on the cold earth, waiting for the end. You are held, fed, seen. This is a new existence, precarious, fragile, yet undeniably hopeful. You are a foundling, rescued from the edge, a tiny spark of life, granted a second, unexpected chance, cradled in the rough, tender hands of fate. The rough, scratchy wool of your tunic is a constant presence against your skin, a familiar irritation that moves with you through the sun-drenched days. You've grown, your limbs lengthening, but the coarse fabric remains the same, a symbol of your humble place in this household. Your stomach, even after a meal of thin porridge and stale bread, often tightens with a familiar ache, a dull, persistent hunger that you've learned to live with, to push down, to ignore. You watch the children of the house, your adopted siblings, eat with a casual ease, their portions sometimes a little larger, their movements a little less hurried. You notice, and you don't speak of it. You play with them, yes, chasing lizards among the olive trees, feeling the dry earth gritty between your toes. Their laughter is bright, unburdened. Your own laughter feels a shade quieter, a little more careful. You catch subtle glances sometimes, from other villagers, from visitors, a momentary flicker in their eyes when they look at your foster mother, then at you. A question, unspoken, hanging in the air. You don't ask it either. You know the story. Or, rather, the lack of one. There are no tales of your birth, no proud pronouncements of your lineage. You simply are here, found. Your foster mother, Callisto, her hands rough from the loom in the garden, is kind. Her touch when she smooths your hair or hands you a piece of fruit is gentle, warm. You cling to that warmth, to her steady presence. Yet, you sometimes search her eyes, a silent, desperate question in your own, for a hint, a memory, a reflection of where you truly came from. There's a deep, unspoken understanding between you, a silent acknowledgement of the void. You are her child, but you are also a child of the wayside, a gift from the elements. This weight of unspoken origins is a silent stone you carry, heavy and ever-present, shaping your every action. You work harder than your foster siblings, hauling water from the well until your arms ache, grinding grain until your back protests. You try to be indispensable, to earn your place anew each day, to justify the precarious existence you've been granted. You are a part of this makeshift family, nestled within its rhythm, sharing its simple joys and daily struggles. Yet, there's always a thin, invisible veil, a subtle distance. You are within, but also perpetually at the edge, listening for echoes of a past you can't remember, a name you never heard, a story that begins not with birth, but with a silent, desolate hillside. The bustling clamor of the Agora washes over you, a constant symphony of human activity under the relentless Greek sun. The scent of roasted meats, fresh olives, and sweat mingles with the dusty air that rises from the packed earth. You sit on a worn stone bench, feeling the warmth of the ancient rock seep into your tunic, a quiet observer amidst the swirling tides of commerce